So my name is Sen Hui. So in this segment itself, I'll be sharing with you about Log4J exploits and how our WebOrion solution can actually detect such web defacement attacks. So first, let me So let me first talk about Log4Shell. So this is like what Toby has mentioned, was discovered last year, and it's quite it was discovered recently, and it has one of the highest CV score in history, perfect score of 10.0. So what Log4j does is that it actually records events, like for example, errors and routine system operations, or even when you go to the website and there's a 404 error, you will actually log these messages and send to the system administrator. So what this Log4Shell does is that it actually builds a feature in the Log4j. It's also known as the JNDI. It's a Java API that allows a user to specify certain codes and format a log message. Okay, and this feature actually also allows Log4j to communicate with a server, a directory server that's holding the real names and linking to the username. So you can log not only the username associated with each attempt when the user log into the server, but also the person's real name if it's stored inside the directory server. So what this does is that it actually allows third-party servers that could be an attacker-controlled server to submit software code that can perform all kinds of action on the targeted computer. Okay, so next I will show you the exploitation POC. So as you can see on the left is a vulnerable web server with the Log4j library installed. And next, this is a public public domain is a deface demo.s1dc.com. And on our right is the attacker machine. So next is we have a Netcat Listener. So what the attacker does is that he actually launched a Netcat Listener to listen for incoming connection, because what they want to do is they want the victim machine to connect to the attacker machine. Okay, and next we have a LDAP referral server, which is also launched by the attacker. So LDAP is actually a directory servers that stores commonly used to store username and password. So it allows application and services to connect to it to validate the user. And the attacker can also launch another temporary server. And what this server does is that it actually load the exploitation code and to the target machine. Okay. So once all this is set up, what the attacker now can do is that it can go to the public-facing website and then search for this Log4j vulnerability. And when it's able to do that, it can execute an arbitrary code to connect to a third-party server, which is this LDAP referral server in this context. So you can see at the bottom, that is the code that they can activate, they can launch. Okay. So once they do that, it will create a reverse shell connection to the Netcat Listener, and then it will connect via the LDAP protocol to the LDAP referral server. And once this LDAP referral server receives this request, it will actually redirect the request to the temporary server. And over at the temporary server is where we host the secondary payload. And in this case, called exploit.java. And this code will be run on the target machine. Now, once this reverse shell connection is established, attacker can now go to the web server and search for sensitive information, right? Or you can search for certain files to modify. So this will cause a lot of issue for the company. And you can even like deface the website in this case. Okay, so now when the website is defaced, right, people might be panicking. People might, website owners might be what they will be worried that when the public user actually goes to the website, what they see is actually a defaced website, and this will cause the company reputation to be damaged. So that's where our WebOrion solutions comes in. So let me introduce first the monitor solutions. So what this does is that if let's say you have a website hosted on the web server, and our engine itself will actually monitor the URL over the public internet based on a polling interval of 5, 15, or 60 minutes. Now, as a website owner, you can log into our WebOrion service portal to monitor the website. And in the event of any web defacement attacks or any changes to the website, you will actually receive the email So by default, it's an email, but you can also subscribe to our SMS subscription plan to receive through SMS. Okay, and now the website owner have to determine whether it's a real defacement or not. And the good thing about this solution is that there's no extra hardware or software required, meaning to say that you don't have to install an agent in your web server. Okay, everything is through the public internet. So now, once the website owner determine that it's a real defacement, what can they do? And probably they have to be again panicking and things like that. But with our restorer solution, they don't have to panic so much, because what our restorer does is that, first of all, is the user, what they will see in the normal circumstances when they go to the website, what they will see is the normal website, original website, right? Because now everything is what they will see is whatever is hosted on the customer web server. Now, when we first onboard their website, what we will do is to replicate and create a secure replica of their website. So we will create something very similar to their original website. The difference is that we will actually strip off any backend communication to the web server. Okay, so this is to allow, this is to disallow any redefacement from happening. Okay, so once we have done that, then in the event if there's any defacement to the original website, the user can actually do a one-click failover to the secure web replica. So now when the user actually goes to the website, what they will see is actually the secure replica. Okay, and of course, if let's say the replica the page itself has some login page, contact us page, they wouldn't be able to submit any information because this is to prevent any redefacement through all these vulnerabilities. Next, now I'll be sharing with you how this exploitation can work in real life and how our solution can actually monitor and restore the company website. Okay, now I will share my screen. Okay, so this is just a normal website that you see nowadays. So as you can see, there's a login page, there's a username and a password. So if I clean not just any username and password, you can see that they actually say that your password enter was invalid. Okay, so this is to show that actually this we can submit information through this login page. Now, this is our WebOrion service portal. As you can see now, the URL status is okay. And the polling interval is 15 minutes, means every 15 minutes you will check the website. So right now everything looks okay, everything seems fine, and it's being monitored by our engine. Now, let's come back to our attacker machine. So now the attacker can actually go to the public-facing website to look for any vulnerabilities. So once he is able to determine that actually has a Log4J vulnerability, what they can do is to do a Netcat Listener. So as you can see, it's listening now on this port. And at the same time, you also launch its LDAP referral server and a temporary server, as you can see here. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the code that they can actually send to the input field. So this is the JNDI Java API, and this is the LDAP referral server, which is controlled by the attacker machine. And this is the attacker IP address. Okay, so now what the attacker can do is they go back here, they launch this code, and they just type in any password. It's not may not be the correct password, right? So then they submit the request. As you can see now it's loading. Let's go back to our connection over here. As you can see now there's this message. So you may be wondering, hey, what is this IP address? So this IP address is the victim IP address on this port. Okay, and now once this connection is established, the attacker can do all sorts of things. They can search for information in the web server and things like that. So if you take a look here, you can see that you can see a list of files inside the web server. So in this case, they can search around and let's say, for example, they go to web apps folder, you can see, oh, there's a root folder. Looks interesting. So because we all know that probably we all store all the sensitive information in the root folder. So they go inside. What will they see? Oh, they see an index.jsp file. So it looks interesting. When we first go to the website, usually what you see is the index.jsp file or the index.html file. So what the attacker can now do is to rename the file to something else, to let's say .o.jsp. So now the web server doesn't have the index.jsp file. And next, what they can do is that they can actually go to any GitHub repository to search for any deface website. And what they can do is they do a get and to get the index.html file. So release again, then realize there's an index.html file. So let's go to our website again. And now the website is defaced, right? So now the attacker has successfully defaced the website. And when the user go to the company website, this is what you will see, right? And that is not very good because now what we are showing is that the company's website is under attack. So with our solution in place, what can we do? Or what the website owners can do? So let's go back to this portal. As you can see now, the status is still okay because it checks the website every 15 minutes. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we will verify the web page now. So let's do a verification. So now what we do, what the system is doing is actually to check the website again and to check against the baseline. So and to see if there's any difference in terms of this code. So as you can see here now, it's very obvious that the website has changed drastically, and this is the deface website, right? So at this point, what the user can do is first of all determine whether it's a real defacement or not, because sometimes it could be the website updates and things like that. So in this case, after you determine there's a real defacement, what they can do next is that if let's say they have the restorer solution in place, they can go to the traffic configuration. So now you see the traffic is the traffic to the original server. So that's why they see the deface website. And what they can do now is to fail over to the replica. So you click yes. Yeah, so you just wait for the updates. So at this point, what you see here is that actually just now I showed you the alerts, right? But in normal circumstances, people will actually receive the alert through email. And if you subscribe to the SMS subscription plan, you will actually receive the alert through SMS as well. So now the traffic is to the replica. So let's go back to our website and let's take a look. And now you can see this is the secure replica website. Then you might be thinking, oh, it looks very similar to the original website. So now what's the difference, right? So previously I showed you that when they first key in the username and password, they can submit the request and to let the web server validate whether this user is a legitimate user or not. So you can key the username and password. But in this case, you can see here, actually you can't do anything. So it's just an information page. You cannot submit any requests and things like that. Okay. So, but this actually, what it shows here is actually helps to protect the reputation of the company. Why? Because when the public user comes to this page, at least what they see is still the company website, right? And this buys time for the company to actually go and investigate and to find out what exactly is wrong or to their original website. And once they have fixed their original website, they can go back to the service portal and fail over back to the original server. Okay. So that comes to the end of this short demonstration. Yeah. So as you can see, the short demonstration just now, you can see how elegant and how our WebOrion monitor is being used and how fast you can actually restore the deface website. Okay, so if you would like to find out more about our solution, definitely you can give us a call and then we will actually show you how it actually works.